Morning YouTube, Mike here. Got another video for you guys. Today's Thursday morning, 8:55. Today is actually one of my lighter days that I have this week. Yesterday I did about 9 calls, but 5 of them were in the same city. It's called Wellington, same little area. So, and then the 4 of them were different places, but they were on my way home. So, yeah, you're able to do that on certain days, certain areas, but especially too when you have to complete jobs and you don't want to have to go back and you have the part on the truck. Yeah, you want to get those jobs done sometimes. So yeah, that was yesterday. Today I only have 6, which is sometimes it's doing that every single day. It's can't. I mean, sometimes when you want to grind, it's fine, but sometimes you just got to take a break and just, take it easy some days. You know what I'm saying? Take it easy. You need those easy days sometimes to be thankful for them, because I am thankful for them. But this week I didn't want to, I always say I don't want to make a video too long, and it ends up being longer than I want it to be, but I'm just going to go with the flow. Whatever happens, happens. So this week, somebody asked me a question on my Instagram. I wanted to just elaborate on it or add on to it a little more. He asked me, he said, you have tattoos. How do customers see them? Do they go in the house? Now, for years, I wore short sleeve collared shirt when I was working for a company, and my arms were exposed. So yeah, I have tattoos. They go from here all the way to here, actually all the way up to here, and then I have tattoos that go here and all the way up to here. But anyway, I used to wear, at the end of me working for the my other company, I started to wear sleeves. More than one reason why, not to just cover my tattoos, but I didn't want to just protective purposes too, getting cuts and scratches, and so that's pretty much it with that. But I've never had an issue where a customer looked at me funny or was like, at least I didn't see him. I didn't see those looks. I didn't see him looking crazy because I came in the house with tattoos, because I believe once I open my mouth and talk, it negates all that fact. It's like the knowledge is coming out now and I know what I'm doing and blah blah. But I've had some weird stories where, some of the biggest houses I've been in, and the lady's like, oh, let me see your tattoos. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. It's weird. So my whole thing is that when I started my business, I was already wearing sleeves and short sleeve shirts, and then eventually I started getting my long sleeve shirts because, it's just when you're in your own business, you kind of want to, anything that can negatively affect you, you want to just cancel it out. Like, I don't want to have people say anything or give them a reason to say anything. And that's the society we live in. They view people that have tattoos or something as, it's starting to change more and more, but that's just how society is at the moment sometimes. So yeah, they still see this, but barely. I'm in there, shake the hand, and move on, and we get to the job. But back in the past, I've had it was more or less ladies. Oh, do you get cut all the time? Do you mess up your tattoo? Just little questions like that. And so the people that, if you do have, don't be afraid to be, oh man, I'm not gonna get business. That's the least of your concerns, and make sure you just know what you're doing, and have good soft skills. I don't know if I've ever, I put a lot of emphasis on technical training and making sure you know what you're doing. But another thing too is to practice some good soft skills, because I'll tell you this much. Without that, I don't care how much you can fix. I don't care how much jobs you can do in a day. You will not get return customers. You probably will, but you won't get as, I get a lot of return customers just on the fact of me being a nice guy, or they liked me, they liked my customer. They don't even say, yeah, I fixed this appliance. A lot of people can kind of do that for the most part. I'll put that out like, but yeah, they like me, so they want to call. So work on your soft skills, work on talking to people, work on making people feel comfortable in their own home. Once you have those qualities, like you're like the super tech, you're like the ultimate tech, that's pretty much the best advice I can give you. I've trained plenty of guys. I've trained guys that have good soft skills and just break everything they try to fix. They just can't finesse things. They just rushy. You have to be very patient sometimes. Excuse me. And I've trained guys who were great, who knew how to fix things. They were easy to learn, but they didn't know how to talk to a customer. And a customer, I've been behind many guys, and he fixed it, but he was kind of weird. He didn't, some customers don't care if you talk or not, but when you do talk, or if they do ask you certain questions or whatnot, and you just a little weird, and I don't know how weird and normal is. I mean, that's subject to opinion, but let's just say, just having a friendly conversation while you're doing the repair, that to me is a normal thing. Or just, like I said, being in someone's home and making sure that they're comfortable with you. That's the main thing. A lot of times with my customers, I go into talking about the repair. Hey, this is what's going on with this, and blah, 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 blah. So I tend to get, and this is what my daughter told me, because she was going through she's like, you're on Google? And then she was going through my reviews, and she's like, everybody says you're knowledgeable. You're knowledgeable. So I see that trend because I'm always telling people what's going on, telling them about the repair, telling them, hey, this is what you need to do to prevent this, this, and this, giving them any extra update or whatever. Or say like Samsung refrigerator, sometimes I'll show the customer, hey, this is how you go into diagnostic mode. You'll see if there's a code, so if I have to come out, you can always let me know what codes you see, some little stuff like that. So you always want to make sure you know how to talk to people. I mean, it's more important when you're running your own business. It's still important when you're working for somebody, but definitely important when you're running your own business if you want return customers. It's not the initial customer, it's the return customers that you'll get when having good soft skills. Another thing too, shout out to TMM, shout out to all the people who's adding content to YouTube, DC, Appliance Repair, Appliance Bootcamp. To go off of what he was saying about the high volume tech and making a certain amount of money a year, his video is very true. And for me, like when I tell you guys 6 to 8 calls a day, 6 is on when I was just telling one of my friends, I'm like, 6 calls for me is low. I feel like I'm slow. 5 to 6 calls, like consistently in a week, that to me is a slow period for me. When I have 7 to 8 calls every day, and it's only by 2, 3 calls, how I view my fast and slow period. So when I'm doing 6 calls the most or 5 calls the most, that to me is, I want to say it's not moving like how I want it to move sometimes. That's just, when I'm doing that, I'm like, all right, it's my slow time. I can chill out, relax, doing 5 calls a day. You got to understand that when I say 5 to 6 to 8 calls a day, like out of those 9 calls I did yesterday, I completed 5. So I have 4 calls I have to go back to with parts. And that's just how it goes. So now those 4 jobs will probably go into, I don't know, it might not be the same day for all 4, but it'll add on to days that I have jobs, so it might add on to a day I have 7 jobs, it'll be my 8th job, or 6th job, it'll be my 7th job. You understand what I'm trying to say. So that's how that works as well. So I look at like the 9 jobs I did yesterday, I had about 7 new calls I had to do. The other 2 were installs. So, which is still great for me. I mean, you always got to look at the new calls compared to the installs and the calls you have to go back to. So today I only have 6 calls. I have 1 install. So all the rest of the calls are new calls. So that's what you tend to look for. I want new calls every day. It doesn't matter how much calls you're running, well, it matters, but out of those calls you're running, how many of them are new, how many of them are recalls, how many of them are installs. So one of the installs that I'm doing is a recall, but it needed a different part, so I'm just adding on a part to it and going back to do it. So I'm already getting paid. I'm not getting repaid for the labor again, just the little markup on the part that I'm getting. So you gotta factor in all that. So you hear guys saying I run this much call, that much calls. Now you have an idea of the mindset of, okay, that's not on brand new calls. That might be some installs, some parts, some recalls, whatever the case may be. I don't care who you're talking to, what company you're talking about. It's always going to be, some people might have 10 to 12 new calls a day, every day. I don't know. But you always have to have some form of installs. You're not going to have every part in the van. And you have, unless you're running right back to the part store, going right back. And if you're running 8 calls a day, you don't really have time to go back to a part store and go back. And I mean, that person has to be set up for the next day or another day. Simple. Another thing too, and this is, I just thought about this yesterday coming out of the house. I mean, this week I had a lot of dryers. So I always want to tell guys the certain things you need to keep on the van, like lint roller. If you on my Instagram, you see me put it up. Always have a lint roller, because them dryers, man, you know, duct, all that stuff. You don't want to go into the next house looking all linty. That's the word I want to use. But you don't want to do that. Hand sanitizer, Axe, or any type of spray. You just want that on your van. Make sure you keep those things on your van, because there's times when you don't want to put your hands touch something, and you know, I always can ask the customer to wash my hands in the house, but sometimes it's not you in a situation where you just gotta get out and get some hand sanitizer and just keep it moving. So have those things. Lint roller to me is a #1 thing, because man, I've been using, as soon as I get out that house and I'm all, that lint roller just helps. So those little things, those little tips will help you. I'm always adding something, because like I said, I'm still learning as I'm going too, as far as the business aspect, and trying to make sure I do everything that I can to maximize and boost my business up. So every year I'm seeing a significant gain. I don't want to keep doing the same thing every year. You know, even if it's a 5,000 increase or a 10,000 increase, there's going to be a cap to what I do, because I only can do so much on my own. So once I get to that cap on how much I can do on my own, then that's when I'll probably consider hiring somebody. So that's all in itself, you know. So that's a whole nother thing in itself, and I keep saying that, stressing that. It's not the biggest thing. Some people are great with managing other people. It's not that I'm not great with managing people. It's just, you know, you get to that point when you just don't feel like it anymore. You've been doing it so long, and you just want to sit back and enjoy the ride for a little bit. You know, I love running my business. I love making my money. I'm a type of person, if I feel like it's unnecessary at the moment to do something that I'm not fully into, or putting my 100%, my heart is not in it 100%, I'm not going to do it. Because I don't like doing things, excuse my language, half-assed. I don't like doing things half. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do 100%. That's what it's going to be. So that's what I really wanted to talk about this week, is to, you know, I'm pretty sure everybody knows about hygiene and going into people's houses. You know, that's the main thing. That's why I say keep some spray, keep some Axe, whatever the case may be. Like for me, I got Axe. That's what I got. So, and every so often, sometimes I'll get hot, sweaty in the house. I don't want to go in the next house. You know, it's not that I'm a type, I mean, everybody's different. I don't have really bad body odor or anything like that, even when I sweat. So, but I still want to make sure, you know, you never know. Somebody might be up on you, like, I don't know. But just keep in mind with those things. Follow up on that from my last video. If you remember, I told you guys about this guy who I went behind. How about I go behind him again on another job, and another customer said the same thing, and it's like, I don't feel no type of way, but in my mind, since I am putting out information to help people, it's like, dude, you know, we the same, you know, you black just like me, but you out here, you already putting yourself down because of how you're presenting yourself to people. your diagnostics, I mean, you're just throwing parts at things. You know, the customers are telling me like he didn't kind of know what he was doing, and he just wanted to put, you know, it seemed like the part he put on was unrelated. Now this is the second time I'm going behind him on a job, and you know, sometimes you don't have it so soon where you're going behind. I mean, I went right behind, and I'm like, man, it's sometimes it's a little frustrating going behind technicians cleaning up after their work, because the customer's already feeling like, oh, it's probably not going to be fixed and blah blah. I'm like, no, it'll definitely be fixed. It's just the guy who came before didn't know what he was doing to fix it, which is, you know, I understand that, but it's simple stuff. Like yesterday, it was a defrost issue. She told me he changed a defrost heater and a defrost and a main control board. Now, you guys know, I mean, might not all of you, but a lot of you guys know, you're skipping one main key. And this is a Whirlpool French door bottom freezer with the ice maker in the door that's up in the ceiling in the door. So if you've worked on Maytag Whirlpool refrigerators, let's just say for me personally, I know this. 9 times out of 10, if I'm testing the heater's always usually, there's been times when there hasn't been, but they're usually good. More or less, it's always the thermostat that goes. That's just my experience. That's just what I've seen. So it's like he skipped over both those things. I mean, but I know now that he doesn't have a meter, so he couldn't test for continuity on the heater. So that's just something that you know, that's kind of sad. But I say these things because don't be that guy. You want to stress that. Don't be that guy. Be equipped with the things that you need. I'm going into a neighborhood, so hold on. Good morning. How you doing?
Good.
I'm going to where is we going? 6998 Castlemaine Avenue. So yeah, I'm gonna finish up the video here, and I'll get with you guys next week. Yep. Yep, that's me. It's good to have your magnets on your vehicle when a customer is calling you in through their gated community, which is what I'm going through in now. Florida's full of them, so. Alrighty, and then you gotta make sure. I'm gonna finish up this video, man. I'll get with you guys next week. Mic check.
Okay, you're all set.
Alright, thank you. So yeah, that's the process. I'm telling you, I go through those like all day in Florida, man. I mean, nothing but gated communities and homeowners associations and stuff like that. So yeah, sorry about that. I didn't plan for that to happen, but that's what happens. Yeah, so pretty much do good work out there. I always tell people, nobody knows it all, and just be nice. I think I watched one of Appliance Bootcamp's video. Was it yesterday? And he was talking about it was one of the guys they were interviewing that came to the class, and one thing he said is that if you want to help people, that's probably the first thing you need to really do great out here. I want to help people, so there's been times where I've fixed things and it didn't get approved by the warranty company. I just ate that repair because I helped the customer. Not a lot of times, but it's happened. You know, it's happened, and it kills me when it happens, but I always tell myself it's gonna come back to me. It's always gonna come back to me. That's the kind of energy I put out in the universe. Put out good energy, you get good energy back. I wholeheartedly believe in karma. Don't do people wrong, because it will come back to you some shape or form eventually. So I want to make sure my karma is great. But anyway, thanks guys. I'll get back with you with another one. And all of you have a great weekend. Take care. I don't know, I might have a video before the weekend, who knows. But anyway, you guys take care. Have a good day.